When you have the blue light, let me just turn this on. Oh, it's not plugged in.
Right,
It's real Marta.
One thing about the lights, they do need a plug.
They were. Oh, I didn't bring it. It's not there. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait, right here. Just go in there and get mine out.
Oh, but then tell them about the
This
lights.
is how we lose things, actually. So she'll take my control. And tonight, I'll realize I don't have mine.
How do you do it for the net?
Oh, for the net. So I don't use the these that much. What do they call Velcro straps that much? But sometimes with the neck, I actually take the eye mask. And like for a foot zone, I would have them just put the eye mask right around their neck. And
For what?
for a foot zone, because most people when they're getting a foot zone or a session with you, they don't want to be not looking at you,
Oh,
right?
they do that and then they're asleep and
They're
then
gone.
just
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. So they love it. So perfect. So maybe they do like that. So it's all. One of the things that we want to talk about in terms of pad placement and all these things is that it's okay to vary it for you. What works for that person? Maybe this person loves this here because they're really working on their thyroid, or maybe they want to have this pad on their eyes and they want to have this pad, the blue pad, on their thyroid, and they're willing to hold it. Or maybe they need it strapped around
They're
them
lying
and they
back,
need it
so it works.
strapped on. So you can strap any pad. What I would recommend is choose a small enough strap that it goes easily through the grommet, and you could strap it to the neck if you wanted to. So that means I just would have it Velcroed there. I'm kind of lazy on the Velcro, so I don't usually use it very much. I just usually use a pillow or something, a piece of clothing to kind of stick it in there.
I wondered if the blue goes skin deep, the red goes muscle deep, and the infrared goes bone deep. As the infrared's passing through the skin and the muscle to get to the bone, is it doing anything different in those layers than the blue and the red?
That's a good question.
I don't know the answer to that necessarily. I do know that blue has been found to help with osteoblast activity. So to think that it only helps with skin or it only helps with something, it's not necessarily true. Blue light helps with wound healing. Blue light helps with nitric oxide induction. Blue light helps with osteoblast activity in studies. It's just that it's such a short wavelength of light that it tends to get more refracted, I guess is the word I would use. But I did hear once that when it's brought in with the near infrared, that it might go deeper. Have you heard that too? That the near infrared might help it to penetrate on a deeper level.
And remember this, when we talk about these lights and we talk about these wavelengths and we talk about these frequencies, we're doing it with a finite mind. We are limiting what these lights can do. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing, and I don't even need to understand it to get it sometimes, you know. But just remember, we're kind of breaking it down, we're doing a little scientific talking about it, but the truth is, these lights are phenomenal. They're going in there, they might be scattering orange and green for all I know, but at this, you know, in the lights, the body knows how to do it. So I just don't, the phrase is get wrapped around the axle about it. Just say, get me those lights twice a month, twice a day.
Twice a month?
Yeah, twice a day. Be sure that I have those lights on me twice a day.
If I were,
Wherever I'm gonna put
if
it.
I was worried about coming down with a cold, I often will put this on my thymus. Okay, so the thymus is the center of the chest, right here. So to support immunity, I would put it right on, yeah, I'm working on it, it's kind of strange. I would put it down on my chest so that that's a common place to try to help boost the immune system. And then I can put this around my throat, I can put this on my forehead. We have some people who don't like the lights on their eyes, so I just try to start kind of higher up and then slowly lower down if they're ready. And so that maybe they're okay with having it a little bit there until they get more used to it. You could put this on the back of the neck, or another great place that I've learned is a kind of an acupuncture or a trigger point connection to is the behind your knee. So I'll put the pad behind the knee, especially on kids if they don't want to do the eye
And
mask.
you can use the eye mask in the groin too. Wherever these lights will fit, use it.
The same one is like for cold.
For a cold. So for a cold, there's several, this brings me to a handout. Shirley, I have a handout back there that says possibilities for light system owners. Another handout
Possibility
just
for
Light system owners.
So, and I have some ideas on there for you. For a cold, for building immunity, if you look at your list, 2 is good. 2 is a nice one. I like 1 is good.
There's one for viruses that's in the program part.
And I also like the ones that are in the program part. So I put that in there, in this handout. So there's,
And believe it or not, B and C and alternate B and C. Yes.
The pineal gland, if I put the eye mask, if I don't put the eye mask on my head, will it still get to the pineal gland?
Behind the knee.
Behind the knee is another connection
Possibility.
point for the pineal. Also, you have on your hands and your feet, right? So you could always do hands and feet, and ears.
Have you, Marta, have you revised this
Yes,
handout?
yes, this one I have very
So,
fast. But I know
it's
that you have everything. This one is newly
Yeah,
written.
Tara Fairwood has it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, your skull actually opens every 15 seconds to receive light. So I even do it on my clients on top of their head who are really photosensitive, and it's still.
I have heard that. This kind of opens up.
Wow, that is cool. Did you all hear that? Your head sort of opens up every 15 seconds to receive light. Because I kept thinking, my head's so hard and dense, am I really getting it in there to my hypothalamus? Am I really? But you know, they know now through tests that people with memory disorders and Alzheimer's, dementia, that sort of thing, they have low amounts of nitric oxide in the prefrontal lobe of their brain. So, yeah, so this is prevention, guys.
And like
This is great
you had
stuff.
asked about like ADD and things like that.
That was our discussion when we haven't gone there.
Yeah, we're getting there. But one of the things I would say is sometimes you have someone who just, well, they will not put the eye mask on their eyes. And if it's a matter of them doing the lights or not doing the lights, then don't put the eye mask on their eyes. You know, like, no one needs to suffer. But recognize that not being able to tolerate the eye mask on the eyes can have multiple reasons. And one of them could be that calcification of the pineal. And so taking some time to decalcify, setting 7 is good for, and it says that on your handout, and it's actually, it says it in this, for decalcifying the pineal. So that's right, one of those first ones here of, I think the first thing it talks about is what? Sleep issues. So sleep issues, he talks about really being from the endocrine system, hormone system. Remember, it's the pineal gland that talks that's going to secrete your melatonin. So this is why the pineal is so important. I would say, in addition to doing your lights, make sure you are sleeping in darkness, complete darkness. No light in your bedrooms. No blinds open. No alarm clock light. I mean, we have eliminated everything in our world. And I will say that as I've gotten better and better with my pineal gland, I have to get darker and darker in my bedroom because a little bit of light I notice more now. But you do want the pineal open. That's your consciousness, your memory, that's your God gland. And it is very much, in our society, very calcified for most people. So the way you can decalcify the pineal is the next thing. So that sleep one on setting 1, I mean, we used to joke about that, but like, man, you want to take a good nap. For me personally, even though 1 should be a kind of energizing frequency, I would put that behind my knees and it was on your chest and your adrenals and the eyes, and I'm just like, I thought somebody just like knocked me over the head with a sledgehammer a couple times. But I used to wake up at 4 o'clock every night, and I don't ever do that anymore. Sometimes it's because I'm going to bed.
Because she has a young bladder, that's why. She has a young bladder.
Just last night, it was great. Okay, so here's how to decalcify the pineal. This, like they're saying here, this goes behind the head. This one goes over the top of the head. So this like it makes a nice bond. Now again, I'm lazy. I don't do straps, so I usually just have it lying down. I do this all lying down. And I just put this over my head, and then I usually take some 2 decorative pillows beside my bed and just stick them on either side of the thing. I mean,
So that's the red pad.
yeah, the red is going to be a better choice probably, but really the big thing that you're working with here is the near infrared. Because that's what's going deep enough. So then here, and then I would have the eye mask on my eyes.
And so you do 2 reds.
Well, and it doesn't really matter, it's because it's the near infrared that we're working with, and every pad except for the eye mask has near infrared light in it. So sometimes people say, well, I don't want to use the blue, it's not going to go deep enough. Well, it's the near infrared. There's more near infrared on your blue pad than there is blue. So there's setting 1. And that's setting 7 to decalcify that pineal gland.
Before we move off of this, if you use your Velcro on your pads, just take them off gently. Your pad will last a lot longer if you don't just jerk them off.
And
it'll
store
look a
them
lot
flat.
nicer too. And you store your lights
Store them flat. So when I'm done with my lights, I store them flat.
Well, except if you have my rack.
Yeah, she has them.
I like my rack.
But that's around the head for the pineal. I mean, you want to feel synchronicity, like you're thinking about something and it happens, or before you even think about it, it happens. This is the thing that I find happens with the lights for me, the synchronicity.
How often would you do that one?
I would play with it when you first got the lights. I did it for a while. I did it like a couple times a week or a few days every day. And then now I don't do it that often anymore because I know, well, Brian Higby, I went up to talk to him and he was like, is that from your pineal gland? And I mean, from your doing your lights? And I was like, what? He's like, your pineal gland is so open. I mean, he's somebody who can see stuff like this. And I was like, oh, it is. You know, I didn't really know that, but I love talking to people who see energy because then they tell me things like this. So he's like, by the way, your aura is like this huge around you and your pineal gland is super open. Do you think that's from the lights? And I was like,
No, it's her mother.
I didn't even know what a pineal gland was a few years ago. I'm pretty sure it is the lights. So I think that's-
Marta, do you run the number one for the whole 20 minutes?
I know, I often, again, would fall asleep, so to say that I would turn off the fan is not very accurate, so I never really worry about that. The only thing I try not to do is do the lights on my eyes, over my eyes, for more than 40 minutes at a time, because I find that after a while, I can feel the dryness in my eyes.
I see different colors
Yeah.
after
Now,
I take that on.
Now, part of the reason why you see different colors is the lighting in your room. So one of the things you will see is if you expose yourself to a lot of blue light that's in your eye mask, and then you look at what all of our artificial light, unless you have full spectrum lighting in your home or you're looking outside a window, it will always seem green to you. It will seem greenish yellow, and you'll be like, I don't know what's happened to my eyes. It's nothing that's happened to your eyes. You're just all of a sudden noticing the wavelength because you've had all this blue on, and now you're noticing, wow, that actually has almost no blue in it. It's got this yellow in it, and I'm seeing green. So I warn people when they're going to do lights, if you didn't damage your eyesight, it's that effect. But if you went outside, you would see the